All right, and it's August in 2021. I'm so glad the CDC has recommended everybody wear a mask again. I don't necessarily worry all that much about COVID, but I find that with a mask on, it's so easy to make all sorts of requests without showing my facial expressions. And if I get nervous, other people are not going to see it. So I was just negotiating a few things at my workplace with my boss, and it was all over Zoom, obviously. I'm still in Phoenix, Arizona. But there was one thing that I needed to negotiate that gave me the chills. Very uncomfortable topic for me to talk about. I'll let you think what it is. See, I negotiate about my pay. I never got any raises this year, obviously, because money is tight, but I want to make sure that it's on the table for discussion. I negotiate about I have allergies to various fragrances, and sometimes I have to talk to my coworkers about not using various fragrances, and I don't sweat a beat doing that. I negotiate about, see, I've been doing intermittent fasting this past year. Now, back in September, when we went back to the office for a couple months, and I had to say no to various foods, I didn't like the fact that some people were pushy, but I said no in a very objective way, didn't sweat a beat. But there is one thing that makes me sweat bullets every time I have to ask for vacation. And the problem is that at my workplace, I got 5 or 6 coworkers, and I vacation very differently from most of my peers. And a lot of times people don't take my vacation thoughts very seriously, right? You got some of my coworkers have children that they go on vacation with, and they go to very relatable places, right? So think about it. You're the boss, and you got several of your subordinates who want to go on vacation to somewhere that you like to. Their children are going. You know their children very well. It's a lot easier to let that go, to let that slide. And you got another subordinate who's going on a vacation to somewhere you've never heard about. You can't even pronounce the name of that city. You don't know why they're going, and you have to pick one to deny. It's a no-brainer, right? That's the problem I run into, and I'm so embarrassed to ask for vacation anymore because of too many problems like that. But when I had my mask on, it was a little bit easier. That's why I'm really excited that we all have to wear a mask again. So earlier today, I was on Zoom talking to my boss. I asked to have November 16th off. You guys know for what. And as soon as I asked, I was so nervous. I had to turn off my Zoom. I just pretended Zoom disconnected. I turned off Zoom, and I took my mask off to take a quick breather, and my heart was racing out of my chest. I reconnected the Zoom, and I apologized for my internet disconnecting, even though I disconnected it on purpose. That's how nerve-wracking everything is. But I negotiate everything else very well. I've asked about money a couple of times. Obviously, I didn't get anywhere with that, but I just want to make sure that they're thinking about it, making sure that my performance review is up to snuff when I ask about it. And I even when I was asking about the money, I even said, if it were in budget, how much should I be earning? You don't have to pay it, but I just want to know, if budget wasn't a concern, what would I be making? And they even gave me a number for that, which is kind of unusual if you think about it, right? And unfortunately, vacation is such a sore topic for me because I'm so different from most of my coworkers. And I relate this to my boss. She and I get along very well. I told my boss, I'd love to be able to vacation the way you guys do, but I gave it a try. I gave it a very sincere try. And even though I could get along with it, I just really didn't enjoy myself. I'm sorry. I'll give it another try in September when I head back to Seattle. And she said, no, you don't have to try if you don't want to. And so I got that out of my off my chest, and I feel so good about that. I got November 16th off. But vacation is such a weird thing if you think about it, right? See, we have to ask for permission to use our own times. Can you imagine? Let's say at the job, years ago I earned some money at that job, and I bought some gold with it. Now, today I want to trade some of that gold for platinum. Can you imagine I have to go to the boss's office again and say, hey, that gold that I earned 3 years ago, is it okay if I trade it for platinum? Can you imagine if you had to do that? That's how I feel about having to ask to use my own stinking time for myself, right? It's so weird if you think about it. I really liked, years ago, I was working at a startup company, and you entered into the computer on the calendar, like what days you wanted off, and you didn't have to explain what for. And nobody asked you. And usually within 24 to 48 hours, you would get approval or denial. I always got approved. And it really felt anonymous. Nobody talked to you face to face, right? Having to ask somebody face to face to use my own stinking time off is it's just too much for me. I'm so glad I had my mask on when I was doing that. Anyways, I'll be wearing a mask for a very long time. Someday when I'm traveling to another planet, I'll probably still have it. Well, I'll have a lot of gear on by that point, so I'll definitely be able to speak my mind. I'll probably speak very negatively about civilization on Earth when I talk to aliens on another planet.